Hi there, smart drivers. Rick with Smart Drive Test talking to you today about right-hand turning lanes, or sometimes called slip lanes. As you can see in the image here, sometimes you got to watch for bicycle lanes. You got to know that most of the time these slip lanes have a yield sign, so you have to give the right of way to other traffic onto the roadway on which you're turning. I'm going to show you some footage today of how it's done incorrectly, and then we'll explain the procedure of how to do it correctly, because on your road test, you never want your examiner to go because once your examiner does that, it's really tough to recover from that. You never really get that trust back. So we're going to talk to you today about right-hand turns on slip lanes. Hi there, smart drivers. Welcome back. Rick with Smart Drive Test talking to you today about right-hand turns at slip lanes or turning lanes. Went down to the intersection. I spent about 10 or 15 minutes taking some footage. We're going to go to that footage now and show you how to properly do a right-hand turn at a turning lane. Here you can see the cars pulling up to the slip lane and they have to cross the bicycle lane, so it's important that you signal, mirror, and shoulder check as you're coming up to ensure there aren't any bicycles in the bicycle lane. As well, there's a crosswalk in the slip lane and cars either have to stop before or after. If there's room, you can stop after the crosswalk to ensure that pedestrians aren't blocked if you're sitting there waiting, and it's a yield, so if the way is clear, you don't have to stop. When you come around the corner, you stay in the right-hand lane when you're making a right turn. Do not deviate into the left-hand turn, especially during a road test. You can see the two vehicles here. Both of them are making the right-hand turn correctly and moving into the right-hand lane. On most turns, you can see that vehicles deviate into the left-hand lane when they're making a right-hand turn. Many of them don't even signal, and this is both dangerous and will cause you to fail a road test because it's a dangerous action. And you can see the pickup truck weave into the other lane, and the white vehicle didn't even signal when it moved over to the left-hand lane. And the red car as well moves right into the left-hand lane. Both 50% of these vehicles, 2 out of the 4 cars here, both move into the left-hand lane without even signaling. The pickup truck actually does the maneuver correctly. It moves into the right-hand lane, signals to the left, and then moves over into the left-hand lane. As well, this car too does the same thing, turns into the right-hand lane, signals to the left, and then moves to the left lane, which is the correct procedure for moving from one lane to the other immediately after turning right. In conclusion, turning right on slip lanes. As you're coming up, if there's a bicycle lane, signal, mirror, shoulder check. Shoulder check as you're approaching, and shoulder check again immediately before making the turn. So every turn, left or right, has 2 shoulder checks. One as you're coming up and one immediately before the turn. If there's a crosswalk, stop before the crosswalk or after the crosswalk. If you're driving a car or light truck, you can stop after the crosswalk. If you're driving a larger vehicle, a bus or a semi-truck, you need to stop before the crosswalk to look to see when it's safe to turn or to merge into oncoming traffic. You also have to look for pedestrian traffic. If the way is clear, you don't have to stop because it's a yield sign. And then finally, if there is traffic turning from the left, but the right-hand lane is clear, do not turn in beside another vehicle, but rather turn in behind that vehicle, because as you saw in the footage, most of the vehicles, somewhere between 50 and 75% of the vehicles that turn left will automatically drift over into that right-hand lane. So it's a defensive move that you move in straddled between the other vehicles that are turning left. Do not turn in beside another one, especially on a road test, because if you do it on a road test, the poor old examiner just goes and you never really get that trust back, and then they're really giving you the really detailed look on your ability to drive. So it's a good defensive move. Never pull in beside another vehicle when you're turning right when the other vehicle is turning left. Always pull in behind them. If you like what you saw here, head over to my website, get your road test checklist, things that you need to do to be prepared to take your road test. Skills that you need to practice: slow speed maneuvers, stopping at the correct position at stop signs, making sure that you shoulder check, things that you need to do on road test day when you go into the examination office, things you should do the night before, and practicing and ensuring that you do a pre-trip inspection prior to taking the vehicle to the examination office, because they're going to do a pre-trip inspection before you go out for your road test. If it doesn't pass the pre-trip inspection, you won't be allowed to go for your road test. So make sure that your vehicle is up to par in terms of the pre-trip inspection that you need to do prior to the license. I'm Rick with Smart Drive Test. Thanks very much for watching. Remember, pick the best answer, not necessarily the right answer. Have a great day. Bye now.